Okay, here we go. Everyone ready? My company, I set it up ages ago. It started as a communications consultancy. And I did a whole lot of intensive inner work for years, for about 9 years or so. And then I had this amazing experience where golden light emerged from me and filled up my entire bedroom. This was around midnight and scared the hell out of my own human mind. And in the next second, I knew what it was, and that it's actually the light coming from within me and filling up the entire bedroom. And so I had to really change my business into doing this. Essentially, the fact is that we all have this light within us, but most of us are not aware of it. And even when we are aware of it, we do not know how to systematically access it and utilize it for our daily lives and make it easier, better, more abundant, more fun, etc. So then this became my conscious business and became the core of what I'm here to do, really. What I'd like to ask all of you is, what will the next decade be like for you? Do you have any idea whatsoever? Katharina, we were talking just a moment ago about not everything is clear for you yet, but you have some ideas. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So if I were to say, what will the next decade be like for you? Would that be too challenging?
Well, I know definitely that I would love to have a family,
Okay.
Children, and I think I am already on the way to be in balance and happy within myself.
Very
This
nice.
is, I think, the most important. This is like the basic step. This is like the first step you need to have to build up all other things in the life. So yeah, and then of course I would love to have the job which can really bring me satisfaction, happiness, and still have the level of income to be enough to enjoy still the things which are important for me, but just more to feel happy about my job, also satisfied and feeling that I can also help to other people, not only like now I'm working in finance and working more like I have the feeling I just work to make rich people already that rich people already make them richer, and I would love to really more have like human contact. So it's only the ideas, so you see it's not clear, but two important things, yeah, family and job.
Very nice. Okay. Now, tonight, I mean, this is the fourth of a series that I call The Path Ahead and Our Way Forward. And the subheading is Co-Creating a World of Peace and Plenty for All. I initiated this in February because, you know, the pandemic really was making itself known worldwide. How did that affect any of you? Anyone can share. Christy, how I know you're going walkabout right now, but I'm calling on you. Hi, Pete. Hi, Peter. How are you?
Yeah, sorry, someone was at the door.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Christy, you're in Bali, you're running a hotel there. How has the pandemic affected you?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Helen.
Hi.
Oh, my goodness. It's such a long time since I last saw you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm currently in the, I just, sorry for the lighting because I'm in a sort of a retreat out in the north of Bali. It's a place that's actually very far away from the rest of civilization in the south of Bali. I just came here out for 3 nights to 4 nights actually, just to take it easy a little bit. And just to answer your question, there's approximately about 3 to 4 million Balinese that are unemployed right now in Bali since the pandemic actually happened. It really hit home really hard here. A lot of hoteliers, a lot of the locals that were actually working in restaurants and hotels sadly have now, over the past couple of months, have now gone back to the old way of living, which is farming. So that pretty much sums up the state of the island in a way where I think the way tourism has just gone too quickly, development has just happened too fast, and it really hit home really hard, and it's been hard. It is, I think, about 95% of the businesses have been closed. However, having said that, over the past 30 days, the local domestic tourism is back slowly, but it's still not significant at all. So it's probably going to take till Q2 next year for things to probably slowly pick up. That's the way I look at it.
And how has it affected you personally?
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean it's I think it was really hard because I just opened the hotel in November last year, and just barely into the start of the engine really starting to really pick up, and then we got hit by the pandemic. We were hit really hard over the past 5 months. I've been on an 80% salary pay cut. My team has been on a 50% salary pay cut. However, we managed to keep the business running in its own way by trying to find different ways of finding streamlined business. But that's been also hard as well. It's been a real challenge. But I think the key part of it was it's really trying to keep the team mentally stable. Because mentally they're not too sure what's going to happen next. That's been the biggest challenge, not so much on the business side of it. It's just the mental state of mind. Trying to give them hope, trying to tell them that this will pass. We'll get through this. It's been a tough journey. Trying to find something within myself.
You need to keep yourself stable, and in order to keep them stable. Am I right?
Correct. I've got 100 employees, Helen. I lost about 35 of them, and so now I have about 100 employees. But still, like what you just mentioned, it starts with me, right? But at the same time, I've got to find a balance and to be sort of strong in front of them. That things will get better. But it's been really tough. It's been tough. It's been a really good challenge mentally, individually by myself.
I hear you, and I'm going to obviously elaborate more as we go along with it, okay? And there's a good reason why I have this heading and how we are actually called to stand up and consciously together create a world of peace and plenty for the whole world, for everyone, okay? And it starts with us, right? And one point that I love is that the Balinese are returning to agriculture, to farming, okay?
Yeah.
I'll elaborate more on that in a minute. So here comes this. I've been through at least 4 what I call hero's journeys, or what Joseph Campbell calls hero's journeys in my life. And this, with what's happened in this pandemic, this will be my 5th hero's journey, okay? So we become veterans at this, right? And there's a reason for it. We are being prepared for the decade ahead, right? The next 10, 12 years, in fact, okay? And when I was in the midst of one particularly horrific year, the word invincible or invincibility surfaced, right, from within me. And the realization was, we, all of us, I mentioned about the light emerging from me back in the year 2000. This is fast forward to 2012, if I remember correctly. Yes, 2012, on the cusp of 2012, 2013. And this word emerged. And we all have this invincibility within us, okay? As this evening or this session unfolds, I will explain that further. But what does invincible mean? Teresa, would you like to have a guess at that?
Invincible.
Yeah, I just realized that if somebody is trying to come in, I can't see them.
Yeah, it's Ellie. Ellie's trying to come in.
Thank God, I realized. I'm going to, sorry, I have to do it this way. I have to stop share and then let her in.
Yeah.
She's,
That's my best my best friend.
yeah, but she's not, okay, here,
No?
here she is, yes, yes.
Yeah. She was asking me to contact you because you were in the middle of conversation.
Stop talking and let me in. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, I guess every now and then I will do that and hope I don't lose anyone. Okay. Hi.
Hi, Ellie.
Well, I'll say hi to you properly first. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Melita. I'm from the Netherlands, or in the Netherlands.
Okay, lovely to meet you. I will continue now. Was my recording on? It was, right?
I didn't see that.
Hold on. Me check again.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, super.
It's on, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Now I've lost my presentation. Hold on. Where is it? I can't minimize it. Okay, what have I done now? No, wrong one. Okay, I've created a problem for myself. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. Hold on. There we go. Okay, I was talking about this, about the path of the invincible. And I was asking you what your idea of invincibility is. Teresa, what would you say?
My idea is I've been through a lot. I realized my whole life has been
yeah, I just realized not long ago I've not been put on this planet to have a normal 3D life. And I've been thrown into, under the bus over and over again for different ways. And in the end, I realized that Invincible, it's about springing back and knowing and trusting and waking up to the real inner dimensional being that I am.
Yes.
Being invincible is by, not just succumbing to the physicality of this 3D life. It's being who I really am, and that's invincible.
Very good. And if you were to close your eyes and breathe into your belly for a moment, can you do that?
Yeah. Close my eyes, did you say?
Yes, right now, close your eyes, breathe into your belly. Where does this invincibility sit within you?
In the solar plexus.
Okay.
I can feel, yeah.
That's where that's the seat of the power. And it's also the seat of what?
The seat of source.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Explain to some of the others who may not be familiar with the word source. What does source mean to you?
Source is, some people may call it God. It's the main energy. That's where we all stem from the one. Yeah, from the one. We all are connected by energy. So the most powerful that has created all this is what I consider to be source.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah.
I will expound on that.
Can you make that clear? Yeah, not that clear.
In as we go along. But thank you for that. That was terrific. To be invincible, that which is invincible means that which cannot be vanquished. Okay. So would you agree, Peter, that we cannot perish, actually?
Hi everybody. I just want to say I'm a privilege to be here. It's great to see everyone from all around the world. My brothers and sisters, greetings. Right. Invincibility, just on a personal note, if I just might add one thing, which has just been very powerful for me. I've got a lot of spiritual friends in my life, and I've always referred to these testing times because they've been profound. And it feels like one of the ladies earlier mentioned about, you're doing a lot in this life. I felt the same way. I feel like I'm living about 10 lives in one life, which is tremendously exciting, but also can be very demoralizing if the courage isn't there. From the core, which is what I want to allude to insofar as invincibility is concerned. I've always referred to those times, and there's been 6 of them, and I've always said they've taken, a year plus to go through, and about a year to get over them, and I've treated them and verbalized them with the word as being breakdowns. You just mentioned something, and I've read the book by Joseph Campbell. They were 6 heroes' journeys, really, because no one's going to know what I went through. It's all individual and it's all relative, and I'm not saying I've got it harder than anybody else by a long shot, but the journey was heroic because it pulled upon my inner core, the invincibility side, and I don't know how the hell I got through it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people here that feel the same way. You think, oh my God, did I get through that? And very often you do it alone, and they say it can be a lonely path, a spiritual path. But having said that, and in answer to your question, the invincibility comes from me is that everything outside of myself is transitory, but the constant is in the inner core. The lady before mentioned the solar plexus, the heart chakra, that type of feeling. And that's what I've been forced to, kicking and screaming, almost like 6 rebirths, into getting into my inner core, my eternal, which never, it's like a candle that never flickers.
Very good.
Even the really good stuff, like, from winning the lottery to losing your home, that you deal with those 2 imposters, to quote the poem, in the same way. So it's always okay, because there is a greater force at work, possibly. Again, this is self-evident to me, but, you know, I'm still learning. I can't say I know anything as such, but through my observance and inner work that I've done, I would say there is a greater force at work, one of infinite intelligence that holds the whole thing together and makes my heart beat without me having to think about it. That's what I tune into. That to me is invincible.
One of the things I want to do is to demonstrate to people for themselves, to let them experience this force themselves and to begin to know that they are this force.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's who you are. That's what it is. It is what it is.
So invincible you, each and every one of you, each and everyone in the world. Okay. And yet, what do? How do we behave as humans? Without any judgment whatsoever. How do we behave? We behave as if we are small, we play small, right? We behave as if we are bound, when actually we are free. We behave as if we are most of the time experiencing lack and limitation of some sort, when actually there's no lack and limitation. And there is absolutely no judgment. It's just what we chose to experience here on earth. However, because of the next 10 years, 10 to 12 years ahead, we cannot afford to do all that anymore. We cannot play small. We cannot come from lack and limitation and abundance. Why? Because those are misaligned thoughts and ideas. And this applies to me as well. And the more I can share this and facilitate this, the more I have to also stand tall. Right? Enough of hero's journey. Okay? This will be the last one. We are moving forward together. Okay? But first, we embrace it. We embrace what's happening. Christina, can you kindly read that for me, please? This passage.
He said, "In the midst of hate, I found there was within me an invincible love. In the midst of tears, I found there was within me an invincible smile. In the midst of chaos, I found there was chaos. I found there was within me an invincible calm. I realized through it all that in the middle of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. And that makes me happy. For it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me there is something stronger, something better, pushing right back."
And who's the author?
Albert Camus.
Yeah, he was, what's that? You know, when somebody wins an award, what's that famous award? I forget right now.
Nobel Prize? Or?
Thank you, Teresa. This is, I was going to use age as an excuse. I forget things. Thank you. Yeah, so he was, you know, that was his Nobel Prize was for literature. And he expresses invincibility this way, that there's always something else that is far stronger and more powerful even when let's say the shit hits the fan, right? You can, when you have already systematically and regularly accessed this invincibility, it becomes what? It becomes spontaneous, right? To just have it up front and taking charge and taking over, okay? So we are not weak at all. And with the first, let's go back. With this, I created this program after that year, this horrific year that I had. And this was meant for clients on a one-on-one basis. And then now, thanks to Andre here, we were having a chat on Messenger one evening, I think. And I was asking him for his input about something. And he actually brought this up. And at first, I wasn't sure about it because I like doing things differently. So I like this because this came from me, within me, okay? Then I realized how perfect it is because this will be the group online version of the other one, which is for on a one-on-one basis. And if I want the originality and the creativity, my own creativity in it, then I'll just call it Invincible You, and this as a subheading, which many people can identify, like Pete has, you have read the book, right? And you know of Joseph Campbell, so people can relate to it, you know. So thank you, Andre. And so also I see it as a way to support people worldwide, right? In a group on a group basis. I mean, people can still do the program on a one-on-one basis, but this is like a solution to humanity to help people raise consciousness, because I'm not only, I mean, you have experiences with your own heroic self, right, Peter? But can you systematically draw this invincibility from within you? You know, and the idea is to help people be able to do it, right? Systematically and in an incrementally expansive way, right? Like you keep expanding it, okay? Until this part of you leads your life, right? And can you imagine if 7-8 billion people do that? We will have a different world for sure. And we are headed towards that in any case, right? So this will simply be my contribution to it. And it's not just mine, it would be, well, hold on, I'll get to the slide, then I'll say more about it, okay? Here, this one first. How many times have you, well, we've touched on it already. Have you already met your inner hero or heroine, right? And many of you have mentioned that already. We all have, but yes, I preempted myself. Do you know how to systematically access and be your inner hero or heroine? And I will come back to this slide later, but these are the 12 stages from Joseph Campbell, right? That he mapped out, he wrote a book called The Journey of 1,000 Heroes, if I remember the title correctly. Essentially, he recognized when he was doing his research on myths throughout the world, he recognized that there was a pattern, right? That people would go through, that heroic figures would go through. And these heroic figures were either from, you know, they were like knights or kings and queens and so on, or they were ordinary people, but who were thrown into difficult situations, right? And that, yeah, let me get back to that. Okay. So the point, as I mentioned earlier, is that we are all called. We are called to rise and to save ourselves, our families and communities, our world and our planet. Katharina, you are in Switzerland, you're fairly safe, you're not experiencing, let's say, what Christy in Bali is experiencing, right? Along with all the Balinese, okay? So
Yes.
you are mentioning, you know, like a fairly regular life ahead, right? With family and so on. But you also mentioned your desire to help, okay? So even, even when we are in a part of the world where it seems to be a lot safer and easier, there are people that we can still support to rise, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Thank you. So I'm saying we are all called to be so much more of our heroic selves than ever before. And here's my little friend here. She's my little heroine for sure. Change is coming, she tells us, whether we like it or not. And it's not only about climate, although that's a big, big issue. Christy, I just want to tell you that this pandemic, as awful as it may seem to some, and especially in some parts of the world, this will be even worse, okay? And it's not to scare anybody, but the pandemic is actually a gift, an opportunity, so that we can use it and rise and then prevent this from happening, right? This will be apocalyptic, okay? This will be far worse, and these wildfires are just the beginning of it, okay? So that's why we are all called, okay? If we feel any of that, any part of that calling at all, right? We need to stand up now, and we need to raise our own consciousness in order to be able to shift things. I mean, Teresa already, bless her heart, is participating in meditations that are, you know, shifting the energies in this, on this planet, so that all these things can shift as well. It's about balance. You mentioned the word balance just now, right, Teresa?
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Bringing the balance, yeah.
Yeah. We are all called to create a whole new world together, and we can't do that unless we access this invincibility within us, expand it, and incrementally be this invincibility, okay? And we all have it, okay? It's just a matter of shifting and creating new vibrational realities for ourselves. And then first, for your own special personal world, okay? All this starts with us. So the pandemic shows up the flaws and strengths in each country, each home, and us, lovingly and non-judgmentally address them all. And you did that, Katharina, with Christina. Christina is one of the first coaches, associate coaches whom I've trained and who is part of the global team that I'm building as an answer to all of this, okay? It's my mission. It's something that I wanted to do years ago, but I had to wait for the right timing. And the timing for sure is now. So how do we navigate these times? Personally thrive and support others to do the same. Rise. That's it. We have to go beyond our fears, and we create a new for ourselves. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I'm building, this is part of my solution, a great part of my solution. So I'm spending this entire year already conducting 3 coach training programs, okay? If I can do a 4th this year, I will squeeze 1 more in. You know, if I can't, then it'll have to be early next year. The idea is to look towards the future, where together we can rise and we help others to do the same. I emphasize this, we are all needed. We have all been preparing for these times. I know who's not here. Robin's not here. Okay. Let me check. Forgive me, I'm going to stop for a moment. Okay, let me check where she is. Maybe Angela, you can do that for me. What is Priyanka telling me? Okay, Priyanka couldn't get back in. I see no message from Robin. Angela or Christina or Krista, can you kindly message Robin since I remembered? And then we'll see what happens. Okay, back. Yeah, the idea is to be open to big change. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is adaptable to change. Okay. And the other thing is, so to be adaptable and to be relevant to these fast changing and challenging times. Okay. So we have to, when we are totally in touch with, connected, or even aligned, preferably, ideally aligned with our invincibility, we can make those changes very quickly. Okay? This is what's happening, right? So the planet being threatened. And all kinds of crashes and collapse are ahead. Why? It's nothing to be feared. We may have fear coming up. It's nothing to be feared because it has to be dismantled. The old has to be dismantled to make way for the new, to make way for something that is phenomenal that lies ahead of us in 2032, 2033. Okay? So we need to prepare, right? This collapse is actually much needed. And all systems, financial, health, religious, educational, everything, right? And I wrote here, even physical buildings and human bodies. And what did we see not so long ago? What happened? Which building crashed? You muted.
The Twin Towers in New York.
Oh, much more this year. What happened? Anyone?
Buildings.
One building.
Beirut?
Yes. Which? Okay. So the system will collapse if we refuse to buy what they are selling, their ideas, their version of history, their wars, their weapons, their notions of inevitability. Remember this, we be many and they be few. They need us more than we need them. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. This lady is a great writer. There is one thing, however, that I want to point out. I don't like the idea of we and they, because that creates separation. Okay? So we are not fighting against anybody or anyone. Why would that be the case, Teresa?
Sorry. Yeah, because it's not about us and them. It's all about we together.
Yeah.
Because our energies are all combined. So, yeah, we just have to get past that.
I would go into more of this another time, but just to touch on it briefly, it is the idea of, okay, you mentioned source earlier. Another word for it would be consciousness or pure consciousness.
Consciousness, yes.
Ellie, you've done Vipassana, so you're totally aware of that, right? So if we all stem from consciousness, that means we are merely playing roles, okay? So if we stay at level of roles where it's us against them, then we stay at that level of consciousness as well, okay? The idea is to raise human consciousness, and all we need to do is systematically access our invincibility, expand it, and be it. And then we will automatically know what choices to make, what decisions to make, what actions to take. And our actions will be expanded actions, and we will come from that level of consciousness to create change. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's different, right? There's a huge distinction. Yet we are in this human body, and we may experience fear if we think of what's ahead, right? So we acknowledge it, we face it, and we go back to that solution of systematically accessing, expanding, and being this invincibility. That's it, okay? So then the idea is for me to take you way beyond your fears, to meet, not only meet, but meet and commune, right? That means to be one with your inner hero or heroine, or your invincibility, okay? And we embrace our vulnerability, right? Our human apparent weaknesses and flaws, right? We don't dismiss them, we embrace them. We don't judge them, we love them. And in facing that vulnerability, we will definitely uncover our invincibility, okay? And then we go beyond our fear. So, sorry guys, this is for us, right? This is the inner heroine. Here's the new man, the NU, right? New human. And you see the word love in there. I would add the word invincible love. Love that cannot be vanquished, which is the essence of who we all are. And don't realize it and spend too much time on other lower vibrational energies, right? Whether it's anger or hurt or pain or sadness or grief or what. None of which is wrong. None of which is lesser. But we are called to rise, remember? Okay? So we need to transcend it. Embrace it and transcend it. That means transcend simply means go beyond. And as far as work is concerned, we create work where we will not only be much needed and appreciated, but we will do it in a way where we all will not only survive, but thrive, okay? One of the things that I would do for people who come to me for this kind of help is to first and foremost help them to thrive in their own worlds. And then to serve, because it will be the spontaneous and natural thing to serve. I mean, Katharina earlier mentioned helping others. It's just natural. We are here to create for ourselves and to co-create for the world. And we will get the idea is to get so busy creating that there's no time to be afraid at all. Don't forget, the next 10 years, with everything coming down, there will be challenges, okay? And we will need this invincibility, and we will be magnificent, right? We will be the heroes and heroines of this journey that we will take together. We create what is in alignment with who we really are and with what we love. We will focus on co-creating justice and equality across the board, across the world. But first, we will do it for ourselves in our own lives. Okay? Congruence. We can't bring to anybody what we don't bring to ourselves. And it's integrity as well. So these are the various things: climate justice, justice for the planet, justice for all sentient beings. You know, I'm sure everyone here, you know, like we feel, for example, for the animals that are not treated as they should, and not honored as they should. Also those that are dying in the wildfires, right? Firstly in Australia and now in California. Justice for all human beings, justice for all races, all groups of all orientations, all genders, all people of all kind. That's the world we're moving into, okay? So there has to be a dismantling of the old. It's a done deal, actually. Okay, it's just that we will be traveling through that time and participating in the undoing of it, and then the creation of something fabulous. And in the process, we will enjoy extreme flow and extreme abundance. And then we bring that abundance to all. It is abundance for all. So back in early 2019, it's actually before March, when I started on it. I started writing a book on how I had no idea about the pandemic at the time, but I was thinking of a variety of existential threats, including possible biological warfare, right? Or something to do with, you know, the widespread disease, but not this pandemic in this particular shape and form as we're experiencing now. I was focused more on the climate change, and I started writing on that and how what I do is a solution for these times, and why raising mass consciousness is a solution for these times. And how it's actually the opportunity of all our human lifetimes. You know, we're not going to get off our butts otherwise, okay? Already, even now, you know, there's huge resistance about what's happening during the pandemic. There was definitely huge resistance about climate change and how that is affecting us, right? How the kind of impact it would have on us. That's what humans do, right? So to go back to the idea of balance, Teresa, this is what I wrote some years ago, that the world is out of balance because we are out of balance, okay?
That's exactly right. That's exactly the conclusion I've come to.
And
myself her being out of balance, and then I think, well, it all works together, doesn't it? It's all
totally does. And it's our job to move into perfect balance. Okay, and it begins with us. It begins with us personally, and then we can support people to do that as well. Okay, and we can do it in a million and one ways. Okay, and so the next decade, beginning now, is about taking personal responsibility. Whatever shows up in our lives. Okay, Christy is doing his bit in Bali. Very well, I'm sure. And I'm sure he's still constantly challenged, as he's meant to be. The more we want to do this work, the more we would be challenged, because we're willing to face it. And it's in the challenge, in the process of being challenged, that we can access and expand and be this invincibility incrementally, more and more, for sure. Right, Christy?
Absolutely right, Helen.
And the greater the balance, the greater the power. Okay, balance in every way, at every level, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the whole works. So the next decade, starting from now, it's about us being willing to redefine and reinvent ourselves. Remember the two qualities, right, that will support us to more than survive, right, to thrive even. What are they? Adaptability, and what's the other one? Being relevant, right? There's no point wanting to do things the same old way like you've been doing it forever, okay? Shift, recreate. There's so much creativity from within all of us, okay? That's part of the invincibility. When you are increasingly your invincible self, then you're in touch with your creative power as well, okay? And we are here to learn to do that and to expand that creative power. Can you imagine if all of us fully utilize that creative power in unison? Can you imagine what we can do together? I can imagine, right? And Einstein talks about how imagination is far greater than knowledge. Knowledge is past information, right? So we imagine what we can create together for the future. You look at this wintry picture, okay? It may be wintry, but look at the gold in it. And that's where we are moving. We are moving into a golden era, okay? A golden age. At the end of the next, I would say, rather than 10, I'd say 12 years. For sure. But first we embark on this hero's journey for ourselves right now, at this moment in time, right? How much are we in touch with this invincibility? How can we systematically access it and expand it and be it? And we need to be courageous enough to let go of the old in our own lives, right? And then our own personal world, and then the whole world as well. So we need to do the work ourselves and then support others to do it too. And this was what I was mentioning or touching on earlier about unity consciousness, about being one, operating as one. And in simple terms, what does it mean? We collaborate, we cooperate, we care, and we have compassion, we exercise. We feel, not only feel it and say it, but we must exercise it in our daily lives, okay? It doesn't mean that we get sucked into other people's dramas or lower vibrations. We either pull them into our calmness, our world of greater balance, or if they are pulling us into theirs, we have to leave their world, and we can still love them from a distance. Does that make sense? Yes or no, Ellie? Okay, I call you because I see you in front of me. And this is it. This is the subheading for the book that I started writing last year. A revolution or a movement to raise our spiritual intelligence, to build spiritual capital for individuals, organizations, communities, and the world, and save us from annihilation, right? From perishing. And we won't perish because we have this invincibility. But we need to move into this decade of change to make good across the world, across the board, and to co-create abundance for all. And let's do that, firstly, for ourselves, right? To be happy, to be joyous, to be in our creative power, right? To be the heroes of our own lives, our own journeys. And we have the power to change, to make good in our own lives, our own world, together. We have the power to consciously create. And this, as I said earlier, is part of our invincibility. Totally, the world operates on a hugely outmoded basis. And back in 2001, I delivered a talk to the human resource community here in Singapore about utilizing a new model of human intelligence. And it went right over most people's heads. But now it's time. And now people are ready, more so than before. And they will be increasingly ready. So the time is now. And this is a powerful solution that I've tried and tested over the last 2 decades, if not more. And the work I do is based on working on the field, the energetic field of a person. As Einstein taught us, it is the field that is the sole governing agency of the particle. Okay, so if you work on only what is on the surface, it's not going to be sustainable. You have to change the vibrational reality, okay, how the person is vibrating and whether we are vibrating at the lower level or a higher frequency in order for things to really change. Okay. And how do we do that? Some of you have already experienced it, right? So that's the idea. In order for us to design and create our own life, we need to to do it well or phenomenally well, we need to create an attractive field of positive energy. Not just being positive, but really to clear the field, right? And have it vibrating at a much higher level. And from that level, we can create consciously or deliberately and extremely well. The idea is to create coherence and alignment within ourselves and to create resonance and alignment with the desired results from this inner coherence and alignment. Okay. There is no lack, there is no limitation. And if we systematically access, expand, and be the invincibility that we are, we can easily do this. And we encourage each other as well along the way, spur each other on. And as Thomas Leonard, who has passed away, said, He was known as the father of coaching. He was American. He said high-end coaching occurs when a coach is able to help someone transcend himself or herself and arrive at wholeness. And that's what we do. We meaning me and my global team, my growing global team. And the idea is to move towards ultimate mastery. What is this ultimate mastery? It's very simple. I'm not going to go through too much of this. Maybe a little bit. Ontologia means science of being in Greek and New Latin. It ignites the greatness and leadership qualities inherent in all. Allows leaders to emerge through spontaneous and intuitive natural expression. It is profoundly transformational, I promise you, if you fully collaborate. And this is a very corporate description for number 2, uncovering latent talent, eliminating blocks to peak performance, ultimately impacting bottom line. So we can bring this work to companies as well, to organizations. We just use different language, that's all, okay? But what I'd say to you would be to uncover, one of the things I do is to ignite soul gifts that are in people, okay? This work will just uncover it. It may be, how fast that happens depends on you. Okay, so all your qualities, whether it's leadership or gifts, leadership qualities or gifts, it will emerge from you. And here again, corporate terms about, raising awareness and performance level, engaging people and energizing the operation. Basically, you, how shall I put it? It's maximizing your potential, okay? Internal self-management. Because you come into alignment, you come into a greater balance. You come into in sync with yourself and with what you want. And you use less of your human mind and more of your universal mind. And some would call it your God mind. You look at, he represents what we think are our flaws, okay? And what this coaching approach does is we look at the whole person and we look at what's inside. And it's the science of being this wholeness. And if you look at this was something that emerged from me, spontaneously emerged from me when I was coaching a top team of Schroders. That's an investment bank. And this represents, I was explaining the idea of alignment to them. And this represents 3 S's. This one is the big S. And then these 2 are actually the small s. They look equal, but one is meant to be a small s and one is meant to be, I think these 2 that are the same size are the medium size s. And then the 2 tiny ones. So the small s represents the human self. And the 2 medium-sized ones represents our inner self or our heroic self or our soul self. And the largest one represents source, as Teresa would call it, or spirit. And the idea is to employ a higher intelligence, which we will automatically do when we systematically access, expand, and be this invincibility. Okay. And that way we raise our spiritual quotient. And the spiritual quotient, or SQ, has to be the foundation for IQ and EQ, which will no longer be enough in the next decade, I promise you. And what is SQ? You don't even need to tell people we're talking about anything spiritual. You just say it's to help you systematically access, expand, and be the inner wisdom and inner power that you are. Okay, so there's this wholeness within us that we access and expand and become, and then, or just be this wholeness that we already are, but we're not aware of it. We're focused on the humanness, right? The seeming brokenness, the seeming woundedness, but we're already whole if we know how to access it and expand that wholeness and be that wholeness. And then we will have that wholeness worldwide as well in time to come. And this is I mentioned at the beginning about the golden light experience I had when it emerged from me and filled up the entire room. That came also as a result of one of my earlier heroic journeys, right? So oftentimes challenges will offer us breakthroughs, right? You break down and then you break through. And so then I created this tool to share with others. And this helps you to systematically access your invincibility, your inner hero, your inner heroine, and to expand this quality within you and to be this invincibility. What does it do? It helps you to align these three centers or networks of intelligence: the head, the heart, and the gut. And it supports the three S's that I mentioned earlier to spontaneously align. So we're actually given a biology that allows us to transcend or go beyond our humanness and to thrive. And then these are the things that will spontaneously emerge: high intelligence, personal power, natural leadership, many other qualities and gifts. And then we can easily create a world of endless possibilities. We create from our heroic self, our inner self, and from source or spirit, and not, or pure consciousness, and not from the human self. But we include this human self in what the human self wants, in alignment with higher or universal order. And it helps us to create unconflicted behavior by creating inner harmony, peace, joy. So we're operating from an infinitely higher frequency. We're not rushing around getting things done. We do so strategically, from heart and soul, and powerfully from wholeness, not from lack, and in divine timing as a master creator. And it allows our highest potential, our greatest self, our inner heroine or inner hero to emerge. It helps us to be happy and to succeed in all areas. It creates external abundance of all kinds. is another word that I coined, another term that I coined, DQ, which stands for deservability quotient. There's no such word in the English language. What I created it to mean is our ability to feel deserving. And I help you raise it, and then it's even easier than ever to bring what you want or need into your life. It raises self-worth, self-love, self-appreciation, self-confidence, self-belief, personal power, etc. It clears all kinds of lower vibrational energies or emotions. Helps you create intentions with regard to your desires and to materialize them by raising your level of belief. It maximizes various universal laws, which I won't go into right now. I'm just speeding it up a little bit. Helps you to love and honor yourself and others. Helps you to be in a power to draw and keep healthy boundaries. Take good care of yourself and serve others. Helps you to be presence itself, the neutrality, the empty space or container in which all occurs. Helps you to shift from the small self to your higher self, your heroic self, in the stillness of your being. So it's chaos versus coherence. You can be a light bulb, like a 60-watt light bulb, where the frequencies are chaotic and you burn out easily. Or you can be like a laser, where there's far greater coherence. So you can spend your time in frustration, where these are your energies, your chaotic energies, or these are your primary frequencies of appreciation. You see that? So you go from chaos on the left to coherence on the right. All of us will be much more powerful when we are aligned. We will be like these coherent lasers, which apparently are more powerful enough to bore a hole through the sun even. So our friend taught us this, and he's absolutely correct. We need to think differently. How do we think differently? It's not about enforcing a different way of thinking. It's about the natural emergence of it. How do we do that? By systematically accessing, expanding, and being this invincibility. And that's our journey, our hero's journey that is lying await for us in the next 10 years. And we are moving towards thriving in all areas. Firstly, of our personal life, and then the whole world. There have been 5 golden ages since the birth of our planet, and we are preparing now for the 6th golden age starting in 2032. A golden age is so called because the land itself and everything on it has a golden aura. And there will be peace and plenty for all. How about that? You ready for that? Everyone still here? Everyone not fallen asleep yet? Hello, now I can sit back and you talk. Okay, share with me. Peter, folding your arms like that. Come on, guys, talk to me.
That wasn't body language. That was just me folding my arms. Yeah, Lee, it's very open and very unifying. I can see that on a worldwide scale how fragmented we can be, but it's only in the illusion of the mind, of the ego, that we are separate. But I think the fundamental seed that you're planting, correct me if I'm wrong, is that everything is unified, united. I was going to go on a demonstration today, but I actually chose Helen Lee's Zoom today because over the past year, everything that she sent through, I haven't been planted here, by the way. I just happen to think a lot of Helen from a great distance. She's a wonderful woman, and you know, every I don't know if the rest of you agree, but every time she sends a post and a statement, it's very, very it has resonated with me. So anyway, in answer to the possible question you're posing, yeah, the seed is unity, that everything is connected, because I was mentioning that I was going to go to a demonstration today about the conspiracy theory. Also, it's good to beg questions. So I'm not knocking my friends and colleagues that went to a demonstration in London today in Trafalgar Square in regards to the pandemic being a hoax. So I don't know. I'm only hearing what I do through the radio, the media, or whatever. And it hasn't affected me directly. And there is a lot of questions to be begged there, but it doesn't matter. But I've just actually texted a friend of mine in Lima in Peru. He's very much involved with what we're talking about today. And I asked him, it's not about us and them, is it? It's about, you know, everything that has been created by the source. We all need each other. So you're going to get some people that stand up and say negative things or want a war or fight, etc. But it's actually very good to remember that we're all connected. We all have our failings. I know I'm a different person than I was from last month, and that I thought I knew what was right in a semi-humble way. But we're all trying to get through, and we're all on the same journey. And that as long as we remember that, then everything's inclusive. There is no judgment, compartmentalizing people. So the source is good. So in relation to what you've said today, yeah, I dig it, man. So
I forgot to go back to that earlier slide. Let me do that quickly. There you go. Okay. We were in our ordinary world, our so-called normal world. And then the pandemic came. And we are called to adventure. What is this adventure? I've used the word called a few times in this presentation. We're called to rise. We're called to create a whole new world. But firstly, we're called to be, I would say, to be our greatest self, to reinvent ourselves, right? And if necessarily, to recreate our lives, right? To make everything better, and then to go out there and help others as well, and contribute to this co-creation of a whole new world, right? But many will refuse to do that. This is the human resistance that will come, that has already come, okay? Hence, you have demonstrations. Not all demonstrations are negative at all. All are useful in some way or another. But standing up to to say something is a hoax or to protest against certain things. I think we could channel that energy into something more powerfully creative that will really get us here, cross the threshold, okay? To go to another level altogether, okay? If you want to stand up or fight for something, fight for rather than against, right? Because you will be lowering your whole energy field. And remember, what I do, or what Einstein said, is that the field is the sole governing agency of the particle, okay? So when you lower your own vibrations, it's going to affect your physical self, ultimately, for sure, okay? So keep the vibration high, keep your vibrational reality high. Meeting with a mentor, I guess that can be me, mentor, coach, spiritual guide, whatever. Cross the threshold, go beyond the resistance, right? And along the way, the more we come into being this invincibility within, the more there will be these things that show up. And this is not necessarily real at all. Actually, none of it is, but you know, it will appear that we go through tests and we have both supporters and people against us, you know, and so we all fight, we're all going through this heroic journey in our lives in one way or another, okay? Sometimes more so than other times, like now. And the approach to the inmost cave, that's when I would give you or share with you the golden globe, and you go within and you face your ordeal, right, of clearing whatever you need to clear from your field, and you get the reward. You seize the sword. You are aligned with the higher intelligence within you. You are, you know, increasingly aligned with the invincibility within you, your heroic self. And then the road back is usually about going back to this ordinary world. But in my case, which is different from what Joseph Campbell proposed before, it's about co-creating a whole new world. We don't go back to that, okay? Instead, what we do is, this here he refers to as the resurrection. All it means, I mean, there's no death in this program. The death would be the death of the old, okay? The old has to go. The old has to be dismantled. It has to be cleared from your field. And you return with the elixir. The elixir is your heroic self, your greatest self, your invincibility, okay? And now I go back to you. How was it, Angela?
One key point that really struck me, Helen, is we choose to fight for than to fight against. It reminds me of why I have been very passionate about helping children with who fall through the cracks, who could not thrive in the mainstream schools, and how it affected them and myself, my own heroine journey. So yeah, it is very important that I've chosen this path with you, Helen, and our team, our expanding team, to do this and create a ripple effect starting from ourselves.
Thank you, Angela. Angela and Christina are two of my first associate coaches whom I personally train. And I'm very grateful to have them. Okay, bye-bye, Siu Chen. I will speak to you soon. Oh, you're still there, I thought. Okay, I will send all of you a brochure that I put together myself. I was going to have my website guy set up a web page. He was not available. And so my invincible selves kicked in and created a brochure right away. 14 page. You can skip, some of it. Just look at what interests you. It's very detailed, and it gives October 3rd and 4th, the weekend of October 3rd and 4th, same time as now, except 1 hour longer, from 9 to midnight, as well as October 10th and 11th, also from 9 to midnight. We will cover the program and get you across the threshold. And this program is that comprehensive and of that much depth that you can greatly benefit even if you did it several times, But once is enough. If that's all you want or need, you will be given what I call our key to mastery. It is really very, you going as well? Okay. Bye, Pete. I will send all of you the brochure. And thank you for coming. Yeah, so 2 terrific weekends. I think 2 powerful weekends. How powerful depends on how open you are as well. Yeah. Any questions? Thanks, Angela. Sorry to interrupt and step in. But people were starting to leave, so I better. I'm not even late. I still have a bit of time. How was it, Andre? Did I do you proud with your
Okay, it was good. It was good.
idea of, am I enough of a heroine for you?
Okay. That was good. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone wants to share? Wilson? Christy? Sarah? Anyone at all? Krista? You going as well, are you? I see 2 hearts. What else are you saying? Okay, you have to go also. Thank you for being with us. Oh, you're still there. Okay.
I'm still here. Thank you, Helen, for this presentation. I felt quite empowering to listen to you and this whole the hero's journey and this whole healing modality and the Golden Globe that came through you. And here you are sharing with us, and with this you can give us the key as well to ourselves. And as you also mentioned, that everything starts with us. We can work on ourselves and raise the vibration then to be able to help others. So it was quite empowering now.
Thank you so much, Krista.
Thank you, Helen.
Krista is also part of the team. She's still in the midst. She's almost finishing the program, the coach training program. Wilson, anything you'd like to share?
Thanks, Helen. I think it's a very enlightening session.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sarah? Christina?
Yeah, thank you very much for this experience of immense, I don't know, joy and invincibility, because when I hear you, I experience it even stronger. And what important for me is that we are moving towards that, and it's a reality. And it's not only about us, it's not about us personally, but it's all about us as a society, as a human beings. And it's really a big task, a big purpose. And we need to look at not at separation, but at unity. And it is enormous and very powerful. And my kids are already here as well, so they don't give me. Here you go. So yeah, thank you very much. For me, it's a very beautiful journey personally, and that's why I'm doing that as my profession, as my calling, as my Oh. Stop talking, Mama. Love me. Yeah. Okay.
We will also have a kids version of the Invincible You program. Actually, the first time I used the term inner hero was when Angela was sent to me by his aunt. That would be your what? Your in-law? Is that your sister-in-law, Angela? Yeah, okay. So Angela's nephew came to me, and his aunt said to me, nothing spiritual. I said, okay. So I asked him, he was 14 at the time, and I asked him, what is your favorite subject in school? And he said physics. So I said, okay. We started the whole thing with Einstein's, I like him, Einstein. We started with Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. And from there, we talked about energy and mass and velocity. And in the end, it's the same, okay? Science is simply what humanity has discovered that exists in the universe, basically, okay? And so instead of saying soul or inner self, I said your inner hero. So to a 14-year-old, your inner hero, that's terrific. They can relate to that, right? And for all of us, even all of us as adults, I mean, why do you think we have movies that are featuring superheroes of all kinds, right? Why do you think we had the whole what's that thing called? What's that series called with the magic? Harry Potter, right? Mm. You know, we love the magic. We love, you know, all those things, you know, being invincible and being able to do more than what, you know, we humans seem to be able to do. Okay, the fact is we can. I'm not talking about flying around, but there's a hell of a lot more that we can do. And we are moving in that direction, right? The thing is for us to uncover who we really are, right? And when we realize who we are and we increasingly move towards being this invincibility, as I call it, or our inner hero and heroine or heroine, there will be a hell of a lot more that we will be doing. we will have a very different world in 12 years' time. Okay, so it's exciting actually. Okay, but we need to rise up in order to be able to go through those 10 years together and thrive, right? To personally thrive and collectively thrive in the first place. Make sense? Teresa, does it make sense to you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, we all need every additional help, every tool we can get to get us through this. And, you know, if to do it on your own is not as easy as being together.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Yeah.
I'm very grateful to be building this team and to have this team now and to grow this team. You know, I'm very much a loner. I'm very comfortable with being alone and doing a lot of things on my own, but it is wonderful to be doing it with a team where we increasingly come into resonance with each other. You know, it's very beautiful. And powerful, because we are there for each other, we encourage each other, we care for each other, we collaborate together, we can co-create lots of things together. You know, there's more to the team. Well, I think at least 3 couldn't make it, yeah. And it's growing. This is just year 1, you know. So I'm excited. I don't know about you guys. I'm excited.
It sounds really good. It sounds really, really, yeah, I'm inspired by it all. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Bless you. Teresa, did you do a workshop of mine like 100 years ago?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it in this living room?
Are you still in the same place? 2004.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had my golden light experience in the year 2000, you know, and then, you know, everything kind of unfolded from there. Yeah. I'm 67 now.
Yeah, well, I'm not too far behind.
Okay. Ellie, what do you think? How do you feel?
Yeah. What can I say? I start to feel from the moment I sat in front of my computer and I entered the room. Yeah, I start to feel the things I normally feel when I am, at the Vipassana. And I keep on thinking about something, an experience I had or my family had in line with your words and what you were saying. And I thought maybe I share it about we all together and vibrations and so on. I remember the first time I came back from Vipassana, the experience was as if there was no time. The time stood still. It is an experience I will never forget. But I remember it was first me and my partner was supposed to do the Vipassana a week later. And to this day still, he says, I'll never forget the energy that was around when you came back. I had no idea of where your experience or what you learned or anything at all. But I felt it for a whole week. I felt it every single day, even though I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, and that is in line with creating vibration. At least is what I experienced also there, is that for example, when you meditate, you were able to create that field and vibration and energy for everybody around you, even when they don't do anything. So that a bit in line with contributing and yeah, to the surroundings and how everything is related to each other and how we're actually connected. And more so, yeah, even if the people around you are not directly participating or doing anything, you are still able to influence them.
Yeah, there's so much we can do, you know. And Ellie, thank you also for the wonderful thing you said to Christina. Christina has, you know, was coaching both Ellie and Katharina, who has left.
Yeah.
And Ellie said something along the lines of how one session with Christina was equivalent to a 10-day Vipassana retreat. Okay.
Yeah, that is.
I thought that was such a wonderful compliment and testimonial of the methodology that I put together, and of course Christina's natural and gifts and expertise as well, you know. And that's why I'm very proud and very pleased with, you know, having this wonderful team, this growing team. You know, for somebody to say that, and for me it was wonderful feedback, because it shows that it doesn't have to be me, right? The methodology works. Hopefully my coach training also helps, you know. I'm quite rigorous, right, Christina, Angela, Krista? Yeah. So bless you for that. And I understand you're also interested, so we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, Ellie is very easy with feeling energies, and she's very natural with that. Although she doesn't have too much time right now because she has small kids, but it's in her nature, and it's so easy to work with her as well. So it's really,
yeah, it can be quite intense.
Can be quite intense.
Well, painfully intense.
Welcome to the club. I mean, after every session, even today's, I would have to do a detox. You know, otherwise I'm picking up everybody else's stuff. I sage myself, and then I do a foot bath with Dead Sea salt and kaffir limes. You know, part of the territory.
Yeah.
And
well, that's part of taking care of yourself, or what we're supposed to all do.
Yeah, and you know, clearing that field, right? That field is really important, you know, for us to look after, you know. And then all this is aligned and emanating light, right? And power is a creative power, okay? And the idea is to have everybody be in that power, right? And then we emanate light together, and there's nothing that we cannot do. Okay, there's a video of I think 3 people in a medicineless hospital in China, in Beijing. I think 2 practitioners and the patient who had a tumor. I think a 3-centimeter tumor in her bladder, if I remember correctly. And maybe bigger, maybe the 3 is connected with the 3 minutes it took to dissolve that tumor, okay? And all they did were chanting, you know, some words in Mandarin. Thank you, Wilson, for being with us, and I'll send you the brochure and we can talk further. So what they were doing was they were chanting together, you know, and they briefed the patient as well about how this energetic healing works. And they were chanting with the idea that the tumor is gone, that she's completely healed. And within 3 minutes, and it's recorded, you can see a video of it, within 3 minutes, that tumor shrunk from however big it was right down, gone. Okay, so what I'm saying is together we can co-create a whole new world for sure, but we have to come into alignment, into a vibrational reality of very high frequency, and then it's done. So it's very exciting. You see Christina smiling away. She loves the idea of it.
She's thinking about the enormous work that needs to be done.
No, she's smiling.
I know that smile.
No, she can do it, right? Piece of cake, Christina, you know.
Yeah, so first do it for my family, and then for my friends, and then go further.
You do it with your family also.
With my family.
And you do it from your expanded invincibility, right?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Helen. I have to go. I have another appointment. It's great to see you all, and then see you soon. Bye-bye. Yes. Bye, Ellie.
Bye-bye.
So nice that your friends could join us. Yeah.
I'm leaving as well, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning here, and I'm ready for sleep.
Bless you for staying this late, Teresa. It was so great to see you again. Yeah.
And you too. Thank you so much.
Because you left not long after 2004, right?
Yeah, it was 2004. Yep.
No, I mean, you left Singapore in 2004 itself?
Yeah, at the end of 2004.
Wow. So, you know, for me to see her again after all this time, and she stays till 1 a.m., bless you for that.
Thank you. Looking forward to hearing from you. All the best. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, I will send you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Bye.